Hello everyone, we're back. I'm here to talk about my movie history when it comes to Bermuda and Bermuda when it comes to movies. There were, when I first started watching movies, there were only 4 or 5 theaters on the island. The Island Theater, the Rosebank Theater, Summers Theater, and I think Summers Playhouse and Sands Theater, one on the western and eastern side of the island. And there was also one on the U.S. Naval Base in St. David's, but you needed a special pass to get on. Or if you had a friend, you can go to movies there. They were on a U.S. distributorship, so they got movies right away. As I've said in the past, I think we were on a international distributorship where we didn't always get the more popular movies right away, especially from the United States. We usually got them maybe sometimes months or even years later. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, about some of our local movies that were filmed here on the island. Believe it or not, there were silent movies made here in the 1900s, I would say 1912, 1914. The Relief of Lucknow, Neptune's Daughter, and then 1957, The Admirable Crichton. I think it goes by another name as well. And then in 1962 was The Touch of Mink, and a made-for-TV movie. Not a great movie, but entertaining. The Bermuda Depths, filmed here. Some popular people in this movie: Carl Weathers, the late Carl Weathers, Connie Sellecker, I think it is, and Burl Ives, the late Burl Ives. I remember when they were filming that here. Pretty interesting movie. Go take a look. It's a kind of a monster movie in a way, but it also has a lot of heart to it and some very poor effects. But for that time, you couldn't expect anything more. The next movie was very popular as well. Another Peter Bench novel made into a movie called The Deep, filmed on location here. They actually built a 30-foot deep pool here in the Royal Navy Dockyard here to film a lot of the underwater scenes. There's still remnants of that movie still around. And of course we had Nick Nolte, Lou Gossett Jr., and the fabulous Miss Jacqueline Bisset in her younger days. Still very beautiful to this day. Another one, Chapter 2 in 1979. Ivory Ape came out in the 80s, 1980, I believe. Another not very well made movie, but entertaining. And then another TV movie, Bermuda Grace, actually very good movie. I'm trying to remember the names of the guys. They're a little older now. I think one of them is in Supergirl. He is an alien. And then there's Material Secret, made by a local filmmaker, Lucinda, I think, Sperling. But we have some honorable mentions that movies that were partially, they had some scenes here on the island. You Only Live Twice, James Bond movie. Hopscotch, I believe that was James Caan in that movie. White Squall, Jeff Bridges movie. Very good. I enjoyed that movie. Very nice movie, but part of it was shot here. Life as a House. First time I actually heard of that. I found that on IMDb. a lot of resources, and of course there are a lot of movies, TV shows, and documentaries that have the name Bermuda in it. some of them were shot here. A few documentaries have been shot here on location, but many of them, are just using Bermuda as a name. Some of the ones that don't even have anything to do with Bermuda, but have Bermuda in their names. But check that out. There'll be interesting research for you. I'm learning to do a little bit of research before I start doing these videos. And here lately, I think it's been out for. I'll put the link in the description below. Mr. Beast did what was it, going 24 hours in the Bermuda Triangle. And of course, he didn't come out of Bermuda. I think he came out of Florida maybe, which makes sense. I mean, Florida is 1/3 of the Bermuda Triangle. The other is Puerto Rico and of course Bermuda. Well, why not come to Bermuda? It's a better place. And it's like, as soon as you go in the water, you're right there. Yeah. So Mr. Beast, why not come to Bermuda and go into the triangle from here? A little challenge for you. So what I wanted also to let you know about a time, I think I mentioned it in another video, is when there were no theaters open. So all those movie theaters I mentioned all closed eventually, one by one, and then 2 opened later on. But in between that, that's where some people say that the reasons why some of them closed is because the introduction of VHS tapes, of course. So that slowed down people going to the movie theaters, and then they eventually closed. Oh, I forgot to mention another theater that was in Dockyard, the Naval Dockyard. If you ever come to Bermuda, the Naval Dockyard has a lot of history. But they had a theater created to have a historical video of what happened in Dockyard on loop. But someone had the bright idea to show feature movies there, and they did for quite a few years now. But now they have, I think they sold it to someone, and they have what is called the Media Lounge, which shows movies there even today. I saw Superman there the other day. Really nice theater. It's not that very big. I think it holds maybe 80 people, just over 80 people. Kind of like a glorified home theater. And I wanted to say that closed as well. And then years later, Media Lounge opened, yes. Along with Speciality, which was the little theater before that, had opened up. And then the biggest theater we had that reopened was called Liberty Theater. Very nice theater. I actually worked there as a projectionist for a summer. Best time I had watching movies for free. And actually saw, side note, they had a show there, a comedy show. They brought in a young comedian by the name of Dave Chappelle. And he actually did a clean show, no cursing, no nothing. And he was funny. Yeah, I remember that. Long time ago, back in that would be early 90s. Yeah. But I want to talk, I even want to talk a little bit about the film industry here on the island. We have a lot of young talent here. We have many content creators on YouTube. We also had what they called a Bermuda International Film Festival here. Now, I think COVID shut that down for a while, but I've seen some movies. One of the best movies I saw, I think, was The Butterfly and The Bow. I think about the person who got paralyzed and I think was using his eyes to communicate with people. It was a French movie. It was really good. I'll try to get that information as well. I don't think I have that right. So look out for the next Spielberg or Spike Lee here from Bermuda, flourishing film industry. Also, I wanted to have some talk about some of our Bermuda-born actors and directors and filmmakers from this island. One being Earl Cameron, a trailblazer not only for Bermuda but even for the UK, because he was one of the first black actors on stage and in television and in film coming out of the UK. And his most recent movies would be, he was in Inception, believe it or not, and The Interpreter. But one of his first movies was Thunderball with Sean Connery. So check him out. I want to say this right. Back in the 1912s, Una O'Neill, daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill, actually married Charlie Chaplin. She was born in Bermuda, and actually was supposed to do a few films with Chaplin, but ended up marrying him. Yes, and another famous person, you may not recognize this name. Some people will. Diana Douglas. She was herself an actress, but she married and divorced Kirk Douglas. Yes, and her son, Michael Douglas, is used to come to Bermuda quite often, and I think he still does. They have a family home here, and you would see him around quite a bit when he's around. He walk around like a normal Bermudian, and Bermudians here don't really get so excited. I think they do, but they just want people to have their space. I don't think, I think that's changed though. I think nowadays they would attract more attention because we do have a lot more guest workers that come here to the island, and because of YouTube and things like that, people know who people are now, and easy to recognize. And of course, we used to see Catherine Zeta-Jones as well here on the island quite a bit. Michael Douglas was not born here, because I've heard that it was said that he was Bermudian, but no, he is not Bermudian. His mother is. He was born in the United States. Yes. Darren A. Herbert is an actor. I think he was on stage on Broadway, and I think he did some stuff in Canada, and I think he's even still working today, doing in a series, I believe, up in Canada. Another famous person who was born here, not necessarily. I would say she would have had a Bermudian passport at one point. Lena Headey of Game of Thrones fame. I actually remember her from 300 and Dredd, the remake of Judge Dredd, I think back in the early 2000s. Yeah, she had British parents who came here to work. I think her father came here to become a police officer, I believe, and she was born here. Yeah, and then we have Michael Evan. I think I met him. Yeah, I think he was an actor I think he was in another James Bond movie, Live and Let Die. I think he was the witch doctor. I think that was him. I'll get the right information and post it probably below me once I do more research. Alison Swan, a director of movie and TV, actually was the daughter of a previous premier of the island. Very talented. Look for her stuff. Will Kemp, an actor. Lana Young, actress. Michael K. Frith, born here, was a Muppet designer and creative mind behind Fraggle Rock. I used to love that show. I was probably too old to watch it, but I used to watch it on TV. And Rebecca Falconberry. I did not curse. Her name is Falconberry. Look it up. Broadway actress and screen actress. Yeah, that. And I'm sure there are many aspiring actresses and actors. I know one myself, a good friend of the family. We call her our daughter, Helly. I don't want to say her last name, but you know who you are, and you know we're always praying for you and your success. And I know she's been in a traveling group that did the School of Rock on stage, and since then she's been in TV, and she played a part in a TV series, and I'll get that information for you as well. I don't know if she will want me to say her whole name, but we're so proud of her. She's actually in the UK now, plying her craft, and yeah. So that's it. I want to just give a brief history of Bermuda's movie history, and then for me, I've been so excited to hear about so many our local talent here and abroad that are, and it's so easy these days to do these things, and they're applying the wares. I mean, I have to say some of the names I have mentioned, some of the actors have passed. Earl Cameron passed a few years ago. They have actually named a theater here after him at the City Hall, the Earl Cameron Theater. What an honor for and I've actually had my own documentary shown there. It was such an honor. I worked with the Walk to Calvary experience. It's a group of people that put together a reenactment of the crucifixion of Christ in the east end of the island. It is spectacular to watch. They go from all these traditional locations in the east end of the island and perform different scenes leading up to Christ's resurrection. And this is done on Good Friday. And then on this Sunday, they do his resurrection. They do the crucifixion, on the Friday, and like 7 scenes. I think they've even increased the amount of scenes they do. The Last Supper, Judas getting the 30 pieces of silver, the going into Gethsemane, Peter rejecting Christ. They go through all that and end up with on the Good Friday, and then end up with the crucifixion of Christ, and then on the Sunday morning at sunrise. I've been there, and I've gotten video for that. The empty tomb where Christ has been risen from the dead, and I did a documentary around that, around a lot of the actors, producers, directors, even some local dignitaries who speak about how it's helped the economy, and it more so helped people understand the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's very powerful. It will be out soon on demand. We're still trying to figure that out. It's hard to do it from Bermuda, but we're gonna work it out, and you'll probably hear about it down the road on one of these videos. Thank you for coming out, and we hope to see you soon at the movies.